I'm Russ Kinzler, I'm Missouri River System Supervisor based out of Riverdale, and I manage Lake Sakakawea. Well, it's the end of April, almost the beginning of May, and that usually means spawning on Lake Sakakawea. So today we're spawning walleyes at Parcel Bay. So the spawn is triggered by two things, daylight and then water temperature. Water temperature kind of plays a bigger role in that because sometimes the lake's still froze now. When we have early ice off, then the daylight comes in a little more play, and it's generally the end of April, the beginning of May is when the peak of the spawn is. Some years the lake still froze this time of year, and then when it does thaw out, the spawn happens really fast. We've put nets out in Parcel Bay to catch running walleyes to spawn. The nets have been in there for a little over a week, and we've now seen that the fish are ready to spawn, or starting to be ready to spawn. So we're gathering the ones that are ready, bringing them to shore here, stripping the eggs and the milk from the fish and mixing them, and then those eggs will be transported to Garrison Dam National Fish Hatchery, where the hatchery will then hatch out the eggs and place them, the hatch fish, in a pond, or in ponds, for about a month and a half, and then we'll come back in and collect those fish, or they'll drain the ponds, we'll collect the fish, and then we'll stock them back out to lakes across North Dakota. So our goal is about 48 million eggs, and that's enough that we can stock every pond at Garrison Dam with walleyes this year. And then there'll be also some that go to Valley City for those lakes that have zebra mussels in them. That's where those fish will go. So our goal is about 48 million eggs, and that should be enough to get 9 million fingerlings, 9 to 10 million fingerlings, somewhere in there. It all depends on pond production, and that Mother Nature is kind of up to that. So yeah, once we get there from the hatchery, they will get stocked to lakes throughout North Dakota, and the district managers will turn in a request, and then that determines how many fingerlings we need. This year, Lake Sakakawea is on that list. We'll be stocking the middle and the lower portion of the lake. Last year we did not stock it, but even though we didn't stock it, we still seen natural reproduction in the middle to the upper portion. So that's why we don't stock the upper portion very often, because we do see that natural reproduction, but the lower end is colder. It's a little more of a struggle because of the temperatures and then food availability for those newly hatched out fry. So we tend to stock that more often just to make sure we have fish down there. Our goal is to stock about 1 million walleyes in the Lake Sakakawea. So the main forage in Lake Sakakawea is the rainbow smelt. Earlier today I was down looking at the rocks real close to shore, which is where smelt spawn. They spawn in really shallow water when the water temps are in the low to mid 40s. And I did find some eggs here. So the smelt are here spawning at the same time the walleyes are. After we spawn the fish, they all get released back into the lake. We've seen from our tagging studies that we have fish that come back year after year after year. Sometimes they take several years off and then they'll show up again. So we know that releasing them, but we're not killing them. They're coming back to spawn again. Our water levels this year are down a little bit compared to last spring, and they're projected to be a little bit lower, the peak this summer compared to last summer, but that's not all a bad thing. The vegetation that grows up on the shoreline, that grows up in a year or two, that gets flooded, that starts the whole food chain and is what this lake really needs to keep producing good fish. So our walleye numbers are really good. The population is not at record high, but it's right up there. It's a pretty good population out there, and there's a lot of young year classes, 1 to 6 year old fish that are in the system right now. So them 1 and 2 year olds will just be entering the fishery here in the next year or two. But so there's a lot of nice fish out there, and there's a lot of young ones coming in to replace those that get caught. Not all lakes in North Dakota have natural reproduction, so without this process, there wouldn't be walleye in those lakes. Obviously, some of the natural lakes do have some reproduction, but it's not always that consistent. So it's just like Lake Sakakawea, where we know we don't get consistent reproduction on the lower end, so we're stocking it. District lakes is the same thing. We stock them just to make sure we have year classes in there for anglers to catch. Without the spawning that occurs here at Lake Sakakawea and sometimes Devil's Lake, fishing in North Dakota wouldn't be what it is today. There's just not enough natural reproduction throughout all the lakes to maintain what we have. So fishing this year should be good if the weather cooperates and there should be plenty of fish out there for anglers to catch.